Hello again, my lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. I apologize for the delayed upload. I just had a lot of going-ons in the last couple of months, weeks, etc. But I am back with Avatar: The Legends of Percy. Why don't you sit back, relax, grab yourself a couple of snacks, and let's head right in to Trial by Fire. Written by WardofWinters. And we go into chapter 24. A god buys us cheeseburgers. I was back in the cave with Lara. She was running her fingers over the shell necklace she wore. Are you all right? I turned to see Medusa coming over, stiffness in my joints. Yes, I miss home. Were they not cruel to you? Were you not abandoned there? Why would you wish to go back to such a place? Lara shook her head. It's not them. She studied the wall. The villagers, they didn't like me, but the tutor that took care of me was kind. He came to the village when my mom died and took care of me. He taught me a lot, but he was away when the accident happened. Medusa settled beside her. I see. Where did the tutor come from? He said my father sent him. I was never sure if it was the truth, but he made sure I was safe and encouraged me to do what I wished. He was kind, unlike the villagers. They always treated me like I was something to be pitied at best, hated at worst. Medusa snarled. Ridiculous humans. Just because you can't see doesn't make you any lesser than them. Your father shouldn't have abandoned you to their cruelty. I think he did his best, Lara murmured. He left me this necklace and sent me a tutor. I was never uncared for, and I never wanted for anything. She scoffed. The bare minimum. I never minded, Lara insisted. If my mother spoke the truth, then he's a god, and surely very busy. Despite that, he still made sure I was safe and cared for. He couldn't have foreseen the villagers' reactions to the incident. Medusa stared at her doubtfully. If you say so. The next afternoon, June 13th, 7 days before the solstice, our train rolled into Denver. We hadn't eaten since the night before in the dining car, a bit after our stop at Kansas City. We hadn't taken a shower since Camp Half-Blood. Thankfully, with my water skin, we managed some careful maneuvering in the bathrooms and managed to clean off the grime. I'd gotten pretty clean in the bottle of purity in the lake. I ended up lending Annabeth one of the t-shirts Triton gave me, one of the flowy ones. It was loose enough to fit her despite her being a few inches taller than me. Grover was using my extra camp shirt and I was wearing one of the clasps shirts. We should try contacting Kieran, Annabeth said. I want to tell him about your talk with the river spirit. I nodded, reluctant. I don't like Kieran at all that much, but he was basically the head of the camp. How will we do that? In the sea, we used scale line or messenger shells. Or some people could afford higher quality enchanted mirrors for communication. What did the land godly world use? You'll see. We wandered through the downtown for about half an hour, though I wasn't sure what Annabeth was looking for. The air was dry and hot. I didn't like it. It felt too hot and reminded me of the Chimera. It made me tired too. I felt all dried out. The Rocky Mountains towered over us. They made me think of the dream I had, with the different figures made of swirling currents of brilliant light and burning pain. The mountains reminded me of the figures that were tall and steady. I still wondered why I dreamed that. Who were all of them? Pontus was the swirling currents. They referred to him as Dad. It must have been a scene from a long time ago. Pontus has been asleep for thousands of years, but no one knew why. Those other beings, though, the way some of them eyed Pontus, and they were... Did they... Aha! Annabeth cried victoriously. She led us to an empty do-it-yourself car wash. We veered towards the stall farthest from the street, keeping an eye out for patrol cars. We'd already had to duck around twice to keep out of their sight. I knew we looked suspicious, especially now that we were at a car wash with no cars. What are we doing? This seemed like a sea method, using water. It's 55 cents, he grumbled. I have 2 quarters left. Percy? I pulled out a quarter. Here. Excellent, Grover said. We could do this with a spray bottle, of course, but the connection isn't as good and my arm gets tired of pumping. I stared, baffled. What were they doing? If they needed water, why didn't they just ask me to use my water skin? Did it need fresh water? I made a note to learn how to separate salt from the water as I questioned them. What are you doing? He fed the quarters and set the knob to fine mist. I-amming. I blinked. Wait, did he mean iris messaging? Yeah. He looked at me a bit surprised. You know about it? Yeah, we do it in the sea too. You could just gotta reflect the light, right, to make rainbows, or use a rainbow stone. What's a rainbow stone? Annabeth asked. It's an enchanted stone made to refract light to make a rainbow. I had one in my dorm. Remember, Grover? He frowned in thought. You had a lot of sparkly things. Well, yeah, I had the star globe and the sparkly lights and a few other things, but I kept the rainbow stone out. It's the black stone with the splashes of color. Shaped kinda long and the end curving up? Yep. Oh, that's a rainbow stone. Yes, Grover, that's a rainbow stone. You'll have to show me when we get back to camp, Annabeth declared as Grover turned the nozzle on. Okay, just curious, why are we using the spray nozzle when I could make mist with water from my water skin? They both stopped and stared for a long moment. Okay, how much water does that bag have? I shrugged. It's connected to the ocean, so how much water is in the ocean? She stared for a long moment, her gaze flicking to the bag, then back to me. Right. I stared. She stared back. Well, we'll keep that in mind for future reference, but we already have the nozzle out, so drachma? I handed her a drachma. She raised the coin over her head. Oh, goddess, accept our offering. She tossed it in. Half-Blood Hill. The misty rainbow cleared to show the strawberry fields and the Long Island Sound in the distance. It seemed to be viewing the porch of the big house. In front of us was a familiar figure, sandy blonde hair, shorts, and an orange tank top with a bronze sword in hand. He was staring intently down at something in the meadow. Luke! I called. He turned, eyes wide. Percy! His scarred face broke into a grin. Is that Annabeth too? Thank the gods! Are you guys okay? We're fine, Annabeth stammered. She was straightening the flowy shirt I lent her, brushing the loose strands out of her face. We thought... Kieran, I mean... He's down at the cabins. Luke's smile faded. We're having some issues with the campers. Listen, is everything all right? Is Grover okay? I'm right here, Grover called. He held the nozzle to the side so Luke could see him. What kind of problems? A big Lincoln Continental pulled into the car wash with its stereo turned to maximum hip-hop. The music was so loud the pavement was shaking. Kieran had to... What's that noise? Luke yelled. I'll take care of it! Annabeth yelled back. looking relieved to get away, her face rather red. "Grover, come on!" "What?" Grover said. "But give Percy the nozzle and come on," she ordered. Grover muttered about girls being impossible to understand, but handed me the nozzle and followed Annabeth. I curled my fingers and made the water arc in a way that meant I didn't have to hold it, awkwardly to keep talking to Luke. "Kieran had to break up a fight," Luke shouted so I could hear. "Things are pretty tense here, Percy. Somehow word got out about the Zeus Poseidon standoff. We're not sure how, probably the same scumbag that summoned the Hellhound." "Wow," I said. "That person really needs to be caught. They're endangering their friends and family. I can't imagine what kind of horrible person that would do." Luke twitched and nodded. "Yeah, but it's shaping up like the Trojan War all over again. Aphrodite, Demeter, Ares, and Apollo are backing Poseidon more or less. Athena and Hephaestus are siding with Zeus, Dionysus and Hermes are neutral as of right now. The fact that Clarice's cabin was supporting Poseidon, my Metua, was shocking, honestly. They didn't like me, but they still supported him. In the next stall, Annabeth and some guy were arguing with each other. Then the music's volume decreased dramatically. "So, what's your status?" Luke asked me. "Kieran will be sorry he missed you." I took a deep breath, then told Luke what had happened so far, about the Erinyes attacking, how we escaped from Medusa, how I faced the Chimera. I didn't tell him about my dreams, except the dream with the pit, but I did tell him about meeting the Nereid. My dreams were mine. I wasn't going to share them. I didn't realize how long it took until the spray machine beeped, letting me know there was only 1 minute left. "I wish I could be there," Luke told me. "We can't help much from here, but listen. It had to be Hades who took the Master Bolt. He was there at Olympus in the winter solstice. I was chaperoning the field trip and saw him." "The gods can't take each other's godly weapons directly, and the Erinyes seem to be looking for something." "That's true," Luke said, looking troubled. "Still, Hades has the Helm of Darkness. How else could anyone sneak into the throne room and steal the Master Bolt? You'd have to be invisible." I stared at him. Did he just imply? I thought of Annabeth. She wouldn't. It wasn't just that she was my friend, it was that she wanted so badly to help the world. She wouldn't risk a war just for a quest. Besides, you needed to be more than invisible to get the bolt. You'd need to be a master thief. Stealing from the gods required more than one trick. Luke seemed to realize what he had said. Oh, hey, he protested. "I didn't mean Annabeth. She and I have known each other forever. She would never. I mean, she's like a little sister to me." I frowned, my stomach twisting. Something seemed off. I stared at him in confusion. It wasn't... He didn't really say she wouldn't do it. What was he doing? The music stopped, a man screamed in terror, and car doors slammed. The Lincoln peeled out of the car wash suddenly. "You'd better go see what that was," Luke said. "Listen, are you wearing the flying shoes? I'll feel better if I know they've done you some good." "Oh, I didn't know what was up, but something was off. Yeah, they've come in handy." "Really?" He grinned. "They fit and everything?" The water shut off, saved by the bell. I didn't bother to make the mist stay as it evaporated. The conversation was making me uncomfortable. "Well, take care of yourself out there in the Denver," Luke called, his voice getting fainter. "And tell Grover it'll be better this time. Nobody will turn into an oak tree if he just..." The mist was gone and Luke's image faded away. I didn't know what was up there, but I didn't like the way he was talking. It made me feel bad. Annabeth and Grover came around the corner laughing, but stopped when they saw my face. Annabeth's smile faded. What happened, Percy? What did Luke say? I didn't know how to explain. How to say he all but accused Annabeth of being the thief and made a parting comment about almost seemed to make me distrust Grover. It reminded me of one of the mermen at one of the events Triton took me to, the one that tried to turn a few other mares against each other because he wasn't in the group. He failed, but the way it was said, it was very similar. Was it purposeful or not? I didn't know. I pasted a smile on my face for now. Not much. My stomach twisted. I didn't know if I could eat, but we needed food. Let's go find some dinner. We sat at a booth in a gleaming chrome diner. Surrounding us were families eating burgers and drinking malts and sodas. It took a few minutes for a waitress to come over, and when she did, she gave us a once-over, raising an eyebrow at my head cover and mine and Annabeth's strange shirts. Well, we wanted to order. I glanced back at the menu. A Coke for me, Annabeth. She opened her mouth to order her drink, only to be interrupted by a rumble that shook the whole building. A motorcycle the size of a small elephant pulled up to the curb. Its headlight was a glaring red, the gas tank with flames painted on, and it had a shotgun holster riveted to the sides, complete with shotguns. The seat was leather, but the leather looked like, well, Caucasian human skin. It looked like those books I once saw at a museum, bound with human skin. All the conversations ceased, and I coughed at the sudden taste of blood. The taste made me nauseous. I felt daggers at my sides, sharp metal pressing in. I blinked at the sudden surge of buzzing as the blood grew stronger. I felt the sudden surge of anger that felt wrong. I frowned and shoved my power out. The buzzing lifted slightly. I shook my head to clear it more. What was this? The guy on the bike was large, dressed in a dark red muscle shirt, black jeans, and a black leather duster. He had a hunting knife strapped to his thigh and wore wraparound shades. He was tall and stocky, built like a tank. His face was rugged, cheeks scarred with a sharp jawline. He looked as if he could take a hammer to the face without flinching. His expression was hard as he walked in, and I could swear I recognized his face from somewhere. As he walked into the diner, the taste of blood grew to an almost overwhelming. A hot, dry wind blew through the place, and I bit my tongue as the rage I was feeling surged. Was it him? Was this a sensation that he made me feel? I didn't like it. All the people rose as if hypnotized, but the biker, who was far more than a biker, this sensation, so overwhelming, like it was Lord D, waved his hand dismissively, and they all sat down again, going back to their conversations. The waitress blinked, shaking her head before turning to us. What did you want? It's all on me. The biker slid into our booth, crowding Annabeth against the window. Cheeseburgers, fries, onion rings, milkshakes, whatever they want. He smiled sharp and vicious. A shiver went down my spine. The bladed feelings in my sides seemed to press harder. I shoved more of my power at the buzzing. I couldn't afford to lose my temper right now. I bit back the anger, using every lesson Triton drilled into my head. He raised an eyebrow at us. Well? I swallowed, took a steadying breath, and turned to the waitress. A Coke, please. Annabeth nodded. I'll have a ginger ale. Apple juice? Grover mumbled. Can we also have 3 of the fudge brownies? I asked. Hey, if a god was paying, might as well take him up on it. It wasn't like we were getting out of it. The waitress gaped at him. He glanced back at her. Are you still here? He pointed at her, and I felt the buzzing down in my bones as she turned as if spun and marched back towards the kitchen. The biker turned back, looking at me. I couldn't see his eyes behind the red shades, but the blood grew stronger, the buzzing trying to press down on me. I took another breath and pushed as hard as I could. He grinned wickedly. "So you're old Seaweed's kid, huh?" I raised my chin. "I don't believe that's what he's known as, but my Metua is Poseidon, yes." Annabeth shot me a warning look. "Percy, this is—" The biker raised his hand. I stared at him, and it clicked. The taste of blood should have given it away, like Clarice's spear, but he looked just like his kids. The same sharp features and stocky body, the same smirk. "It's okay," he said, smirking at me. "I think my little cousin knows me." "You're Ares, the god of war." "Got it in one cuss," he said as he took off his shades. His eyes were two pinpoints of burning red, glowing with miniature nuclear explosions. "I heard you broke Clarice's spear." "She wanted a fight," I said, forcing a smile onto my face. "Accidents happen in fights." He eyed me for a minute. That's true enough. I'm not here about my daughter's spear anyways. I heard you were in town and I got a little proposition for you." The waitress came back then, heaping trays of food in hand that she deposited in front of us. Ares handed her a few gold drachmas. She looked nervously at the coins. "But these aren't—" He pulled out his knives and started cleaning his fingernails. "Was there a problem, ma'am?" She stared at the knife, then swallowed, and left with the gold. "You shouldn't threaten people with knives," I pointed out. "And she really can't use the coins. Those are God's money, not mortal money." "I'm a god, little cousin. Besides, everyone should carry a weapon. Don't think I don't see that knife at your size. It's more dangerous than the one in my hand. It's a dangerous world out there, you know, which brings me to my proposition. I've got a little mini-quest for you." "We're on a quest currently, Lord Ares," I said carefully, biting back my first instinct to snap at him. I took another steadying breath, noting how his eyes gleamed as he watched me. "I don't think we have the time to properly devote ourselves to a quest for you currently. If you're able to wait, then we might be able to aid you later." "Don't worry about it. Your reward for doing my little mini-quest will be aid on your big one. Right, some supplies." I pursed my lips and mentally went through the money in my bag, like $200, give or take. Right, would be good." He smirked at my nod. "You're just gonna pick up my shield. I left it at an abandoned water park here in town. Was on a little date with my girlfriend. All you gotta do is fetch it. Simple as that, huh?" I hummed. This seemed like a trap. Why couldn't he just retrieve it himself? That would take seconds. "Is it someplace you are unable to retrieve it from? I wouldn't think much could keep you from your shield, Lord Ares." "I just don't have the time, punk. Are you gonna accept the quest or not? Or are you only willing to risk yourselves when you've got a river nearby?" I took a slow breath. "We appreciate the offer." I glanced at Annabeth, who nodded. "I do wish to know what kind of supplies you'd be giving us, and how far our ride would go." "Food, clothes." He leaned forward, his eyes blazing. "Some money. The ride will go all the way to Los Angeles. I'll even throw in a bonus. I'll give you some info on your mom, too." Grover and Annabeth looked at me. I wasn't sure what he could tell me about her, but if it was something I didn't know... "My mom?" He smirked. "Got your attention now, do I? The water park's a mile west in Delancey. Can't miss it. Look for the Tunnel of Love ride." I glanced at Grover and Annabeth one more time. They both seemed resigned. Is whatever that interrupted your date a threat? He laughed, but it was hollow. He was nervous. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Don't disappoint me. I closed my eyes at the sudden surge of buzzing. When I opened them again, Ares was gone, along with the feel of blades and the taste of blood. I swallowed. Not good, Grover muttered. Ares sought you out, Percy. This is not good at all. We have to do this side quest. We'll make it quick, and if it gets us a ride, I trailed off. Annabeth nodded grimly. You don't ignore gods unless you want some serious bad fortune. I sipped my shake to clear my senses. So why would he need us anyways? There's not much that can scare a god. Maybe it's something requiring brains? Annabeth said as she picked up the cheeseburger. Ares has strength, but that's all. Even strength has to bow to wisdom sometimes. I don't know, I murmured. He seemed scared. I'm not sure what could scare the war god to that extent. Annabeth and Grover glanced around nervously. I guess we'll have to find out. And that's it for today. Those chapters are getting a little shorter, but I'm fine with that. How about we go back into the Halmaheran and terminology translations? Of course, this time we only have a short list, such as Metua, which means father, as most of you most likely know by this point. In terminology, we have Chiron, for the phonetic spelling of Chiron or Chiron. We have scale line, which will be introduced later in detail. The messenger shells, which will also be introduced. Enchanted mirrors that are self-explanatory, will also be explained later with detail. Then the Chimera, which is the phonetic spelling of Chimera. Erinyes, for the Greek name of the Furies. Why, if you liked this, why don't you go and click the link in the description to go give WardofWinters all the kudos they deserve, as well as check out their Discord or Tumblr. And of course, if you like the way I read it, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye!